Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, I am your host with the most, Ghost. Alright guys, we got Payback coming up tomorrow night. So I'm going to run down the card and give you my thoughts on who should win and who should go over. And got a couple of other ideas on what else should happen during the show. But before I get into that, take some time and subscribe to the channel. I just did unboxing earlier today. The Macho Man Randy Savage Collector's Edition. Man, I can't even wait to watch that. Sunday, May 1st, 2016. Chicago, Illinois, the Rosemont Horizon, or it is now called the Allstate Arena. A lot of great matches have taken place here in Chicago, but with WWE kind of using Chicago to get themselves over, it just doesn't really feel special anymore. Couple of years ago they had Extreme Rules, and then they started doing, I think, Payback there the last couple of years. But it takes away when you go there the same time every year. Like, what was the pay-per-view called last year? It wasn't Payback, it might have been the other one I don't like the name of. Payback, Extreme Rules. I can't stand those names. It was Payback or Extreme Rules last year. Might have even been Money in the Bank, but these events don't even feel special anymore. They do it to get the cheap pop, and I believe that's exactly what they're gonna do tomorrow night. We got 8 matches. Let's go over the pre-show real quick. Kalisto, the United States Champion, defends against Ryback. I've talked about this before a number of times that, Ryback has really fallen off the map here. He needs big wins, but it's so far gone by this point, it doesn't even matter. I'm going to pick Kalisto to go over again. He won at Mania, and believe it or not, he did win at Fastlane. And I think he won at the Rumble, man. Kalisto's getting a hell of a push right now. So, let's keep this momentum going with Kalisto. If they do the right thing, they could build this guy up as, the ultimate underdog. No offense to Rey Mysterio, but there's going to come a time down the road where, you think that this guy can overcome the odds so many times, and then finally he meets his maker. I think that's the road to take with Kalisto. Have him win these major upsets, and you can draw big money like that. 7 matches scheduled for the main show. I was just thinking about something before I turned the camera on, and I was going to write it down, but I've already forgot about it. I can't believe that... Oh, okay, I know what it was. We'll get to that in a minute, but I can't believe that when I looked up the match listing earlier today, the Dudley Boys aren't in a match. The Usos and the New Day are not even in a match on this show. And there's no women's match besides the championship match. There's no Becky. There's no Sasha. I don't know what WWE's really doing here. It's like they put on a good show in WrestleMania, and then we're back to the same jargon the next month. Like, come on. Things really have to change here with this, the way things are going. There's no Big Show, there's no Kane. There's no Mark Henry anywhere to be seen. Stardust, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, they're nowhere to be found. It's a real shame that a lot of key players aren't even booked for this show. And that's where your real money is, advertising the stars. Okay, when I see a match like Enzo and Cass versus the Vaudevillains or Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin being advertised for tonight's show, it's like, I know who these guys are, but a lot of other people don't know who these guys are. These are 5 individuals that are very new to the WWE scene. No disrespect to Ziggler, but the guys at 50-50 level here, okay? Even Steven Booking has, terminated his career in a very negative way. First match, let's get into it. Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, Corbin debuted at Mania, won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, whatever. His first night on Raw, he beats down Ziggler, but they both lost the match in a double count out. I think he did get his win back the next week, but I think Baron Corbin will win, but Dolph Ziggler is lost in the sand right now. He's lost in the woods, and it's very hard for him to come back from this. A lot of other guys, too, that are lost right now are like Curtis Axel and Damian Sandow. Where are these guys at? Enzo and Cass versus Vaudevillains for the #1 contendership. I'm going to go with the Vaudevillains for some reason. I think they would be a good pairing for the New Day to face for the titles. Enzo and Cass don't need a title shot right now. It'll look good for them to be in a title match, but they can lose while still getting over. Okay? So I'm going with the Vaudevillains. Charlotte versus Natalya for the Women's Championship. I'm going to go with Charlotte to retain, but I wouldn't be surprised if Natalya won. And Bret Hart's going to be in the corner of Natalya, counteracting Ric Flair's actions. So, I don't see WWE doing much with that, except for, maybe in the finishing sequence, like, Flair tries to interfere, but it's still, when Bret, goes to get Flair, Charlotte does something to still, get that one up on Natalya by cheating or whatever. The referee, is blindsided. Something happens there. The Intercontinental Championship has been in limbo for a long time now. And, I really wish Zack Ryder would have held on to it for at least a month. Come on now. The guy got a 24-hour title reign. It's very depressing to be Zack Ryder. And he's not even on the show. The Miz defends against Cesaro. I am going to go pick The Miz. But, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Cesaro wins. With this very smarky crowd in Chicago, I wouldn't be surprised if Cesaro wins. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. A very intense grudge match, These guys have their history together. A lot of people aren't familiar with their matches. Check them out from Ring of Honor and wherever else they wrestled. I'm not too sure of it, but I'm aware of their history. I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens. It's not gonna be Sammy's night. I'm sorry, but the guy has to pay his dues, so to say. And Kevin Owens is he's a good wrestler. I like Kevin Owens a lot. So Sammy's gonna get his comeuppance. He's gonna get that big win eventually, but not tonight. Okay, or not at Payback. Then we have Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. Again, another match that really makes no sense. It's really sad to see Ambrose in this match. I'm going to go with Chris Jericho. I believe that Ambrose is at this point in his career where he's just putting over all the stars, and it's kind of hurting his career. So, I'm going with Jericho. And for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, we have the champion Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. This is a tough match for me to pick, but I am going to pick Roman Reigns to retain the championship. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ does win it. Couple of things to go over real quick before we wrap up. Finn Balor might debut at Payback, guys, so be prepared to set your cameras and post those reactions online. You know, debuting with the Balor Club or the Bullet Club or whatever they're being called right now. Ken Anderson, Luke Gallows, will they turn on AJ Styles? I don't think so. Not at this point. It's a little too early for that, you know. That'd be something good to set up for SummerSlam, you know. But I could see him planting the seeds for it tonight, you know. Maybe they might get AJ disqualified unintentionally, and then it leads to a match at Extreme Rules with, you know, AJ and Roman again. So there's a couple of thoughts there, and my thoughts real quick on Stephanie and Shane. Who's going to get control of Monday Night Raw? Vince McMahon apparently is going to make the announcement during the pay-per-view. I don't see Vince getting in the ring. I think this is going to be one of his things he does on the ramp again, you know. Vince is getting up there, guys. I think there is something wrong with him, you know. Those walks get long to the ring when you're that age. No offense, but the guy's 70 years old. He doesn't need to walk down to the ring for a 10-minute promo. He likes relaxing in his chair backstage, and I hope that Triple H comes out and persuades McMahon, you know, to pick the Authority, but somehow Vince still picks the old boy, the young man, Shane McMahon, to run it. Will this be the return of the brand split? Or just control of separate shows? You know, hey, we're going to run SmackDown, and Shane's going to run Raw, but all the talent is revolving, you know. All the talent still goes from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw, you know, just with different authority figures. Okay, that would be a good idea, instead of just having the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie, running it all. So those are my thoughts on Payback tomorrow. Let me know your predictions, guys, in the comments section. Thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you later. Peace.